I've been on the boat nearly 18 months and I've had a few visitors, not many, but I've had a few. But I've also talked to boaters along the way, and you know, one of the things that I think it would be useful anyway, is if I discuss the things that wind boaters up, or concern boaters that could end up winding boaters up. If you, a visitor, visit the boat, perhaps more narrow than wide, but in some cases it doesn't matter, about the things that concern us. So if you care about the boaty person, family that you're visiting, and you want to start on the right foot, then these are the things you may want to consider. It's obvious really, but not for those people on land, and I don't think they quite appreciate it. Here's an example: water. I have a 550 litre water tank which is stainless steel, and I can make it last 6 weeks, and I've done so. I'm not sure if it was 6.5, but there we go. But that takes an awful lot of discipline, and some would say, well, how many showers did you have? Not many. And how many times did you wash up? Well, not many is the answer. And the reason why I did that is I wanted to understand how long I could make that water last. Last year's winter we got frozen in a couple of times, and you know, and because we got frozen in I didn't really care because I could make the water last, and I'd already done my homework on that. This winter, by the way, well, it's been wet. There's been a lot of rain in the UK. Last year's winter was just cold. This year's winter, easier. So if you've bought a boat this year and you think, oh, I don't know what everyone's banging on about, this winter's been really easy, that's because it has been. Notwithstanding, because I have just gone off tangent, as I ordinarily do, I've had a visitor on the boat where we've made a water tank last 4 days. And the primary reason for that is, if you are to wash your hands, don't open the tap allowing water to gush out every time you wash your hands. Because I don't know how many litres of water you may use, maybe not many, but the cumulative effect means that you do use a lot more water. If I wash up, I kind of a quarter fill the sink. Yeah, occasionally I put a bit more water in if you know, I've done some greasy pans or something like that. But you know, there's various ways that you can mitigate all of that stuff. I rinse off in the canal. Well, should you do that? Well, the answer is it doesn't really matter because it ends up in the canal anyway, so you know, it just means that the water I wash up with is cleaner for longer. You know, I only fill the kettle for however many cups. I don't put the cup in, put it in the kettle. It's just it's a big bit of a cuff, but the cuff's getting quite good. If you're having a shower, and we don't shower, most people don't shower every day, unless you've got one of those water filtration systems, which I know people have, and of course they can shower every day. If you do have a shower, when you have a shower, it's water on, get wet, water off, soap up, water on, rinse off, water off, job done. Now that is totally alien for those people on land, or most people on land, but those are the things that we have to consider when living on a boat, because water isn't on a plentiful, well, it is at a plentiful supply, but you have to go and find it, you have to go and get it, and that means moving your boat, and that means a bit of faff. So point number one. Also aligned to water is toilets. If you have a pump out system, not everybody flushes a toilet after a wee, because it's just using your water. If you have a cassette toilet, again, I've heard that people say, oh, don't keep flushing it, it just uses waste of water, and then you fill up the old cassette and then I have to go and empty it. And then you have to, if you're nowhere near an LSAM point, then again, one of those things that tend to frustrate boaters, and they don't really want to say, I've told you, please don't do it, because then that causes confrontation, and we generally put up with it. But then how do you say it to someone? So if you're watching this, I've said it to you, you know, ask the rules when you get into a boat reference, how much water and all that sort of stuff. Just when you're washing your hands, open the tap to allow some water to come out clearly, but not at a gushing rate, just a steady stream. Wash your hands, turn it off straight away. But here's a friend I had when 30 years ago he's been a friend. 33 years ago. This is a mate, Martin. He has a close protection company and does some close protection stuff of close protection type people. And he's also a seventh Dan who flung dung. So I kind of said to him, being a mate, I said, oh, can we practice some knife attacks? Not that I want to be attacked by a knife or unarmed combat or anything like that. I've done a little bit of that back in the day, but I'm a little bit rusty. And so if you don't know what a Dan is, it's a black belt times 6. I'm not sure who's going to win.
I am.
You're a bit confident, aren't you?
What we need to understand is that 90% of the population are right-handed. Therefore, you are invariably going to be attacked from the right hand with a knife, okay, if they've got a weapon. Whenever we're in a fight, we need to start to consider that there could be a knife there could be a weapon there, and always consider that, okay? Because scumbags these days, they are carrying knives a lot of the time. Therefore, always think where are the hands, and where are the hands at all times, and therefore defend against any hidden hands. Social distance.
Not a real knife is used, clearly, and we wouldn't be doing that sort of silly thing. I was just thinking, oh mate, I thought this was like an MP.
It was exactly that. Shoot bits. See, we can start taking down as we go through again, okay? So from here, again, and we're looking from here. We're keeping the weight starting to go to shut and door. Okay, bam, bang. You could use your legs, you can keep them away.
I'm going to practice some of this. Oh, have I got your back? Oh, I am sorry, mate. I am sorry.
That's it. There. Good. Drop the weight down here. Now, we've got them here in this position. Now I can start to work on the actual joints and vulnerable spots.
I wanted to make a move early. Right, early start. Moon's up. Oh, and there's a boat coming. Now I slowed down because I didn't know what was going on, and Nick waved me forward. So then I speeded up again because I could tell he was, well, you know, he was getting a bit close. And I needed to push out in order to come in. If you get my point, if you're a boater, you'll understand. That was a little tight, to be honest. That was Nick from Jules Fuels. Yeah, good. He did some good manoeuvring. As well, to be honest, so did I. It was tight. Let's put it that way. He was unable to slow down because he was pulling at the other Jules Fuels boat, but at the same time, inches to spare. So I'm on my way early. I'm just passing Pear Tree Marina. There's no point in filling up with water here, although I could do with it. It would just take me all day, which is a waste of a day. So there's some water points along the way. I want to try and get to Cosgrove, if not Baxter's Boat Yard. It's a full-on day. Full on. And no locks. So it's just a matter of bell cam footage, me talking to you, and I've got my cowboy hat on. Just in case it rains. It's not supposed to rain. But I'm worn it since I bought it. So, yes, welcome to the vlog. Narrowboaty, me, waffling on, talking to you, and stuff that goes on narrowboat life. Well, my life anyway. Not the same as anybody else's. So I'm going to talk to you today. I've been up since 5 and I do boaty chores. I don't need to do boaty chores, you're saying? just get up and move. Well, yes and no. So I've emptied the toilet bucket and composted that, give that a big stir in the green bucket. So that's composting as we go. The washing machine's on, I've stripped the bed, so that's going on. I've plugged everything in that needs plugging in, and it's going to take about 6 hours to charge the battery, only because there's so much power. Like, washing machine takes power, and the battery was nearly dead. So it's a day of admin. Better than being on the streets, isn't it? So much better than being on the streets. I don't knock anyone who hasn't got a Class A style boat on the canals. For all those people who are scratching a living, I feel for you. And I take my hat off to you for doing what you do. I think it's great. Honestly, brilliant. Right, I'm going to stop waffling on, and I'm going to need to put my foot down, because every opportunity I have to put my foot down, so I can hopefully get to Baxter's Boatyard, which then leaves me hop, skip and a jump through 8 locks at, or however many locks there are at Stoke Bruin, which are closing in a week's time. Well, a little more than a week and a half. I need to push through, punch through, as I say anyway, punch through, and make it all happen. Hopefully meet up with Lloyd at some stage in the near future. No locks in Milton Keynes, but there are plenty of bridges, so for those widers, for those wide beamers, they can't go quickly because of the amount of bridges involved. A grey day, some dumps there, look, and there was a subscriber who was mentioning the coal on the roof. And Great Linford, I wanted to go to Great Linford, but I had to punch through for Stoke Bruin instead, unfortunately. Maybe another time. Next one, electricity. Now, people have been banging on to me, or some people were banging on to me last week about the Afri power station I had. You don't need that. Well, okay, there's a need. Do you need it? No, but it's useful. Many a occasion where that usefulness doesn't materialise until you've got one of those power stations. I'm not saying to go out and buy it, but I find it quite useful, and actually the more I'm using it quite often. That said, power is a limited supply, and I want you to try and imagine yourself being at home, whichever type of home you've got, and you've got an electric meter, and you're not the wealthiest of families, and you put 50 pence in the old meter, and you have to decide, well, how am I going to spend that 50 pence? Am I going to put electric lights on in the winter time? Well, one would suggest that's probably a good thing. In which case it can last all night and perhaps some of the following day. Or do I put the television on for an hour? I've got a television. I don't often use it because I find other things to do at night, and I entertain myself in other ways. I know how that may sound, so it may require a little bit of further explanation. I have a tablet which I can watch television on, and it doesn't use half the amount of electricity, and I plug it into a speaker thing or Bluetooth it to a speaker, and I get pretty much the same effect actually, because it's just me watching it. I know there are people that do the same thing, and I know there are people that sit there on the phones and watch the telly across the other side of the wall. It's not that far away, is it? Plug it up. From one side of the boat to the other is only, what, 6 foot. So it's not a massive amount of space that you have to endure if you're watching it on a tablet or a phone or something similar. Put it in your hand. So electricity is one of those things, you know, if you come to be entertained, then board games or read or watch a tablet or do something. I'm not going to go into it. But those really are the two things. Now I moored up, and in front of me were a couple of fellas and their subscribers, and they invited me on their boat, and I took my camera and I asked if I could film, and they said yes, why not? Notice they had a water filtration system and lots of electrical items. They have double the amount, same system as me actually, but double the amount of battery power. They've got a kilowatt of battery. But it's so well colour coordinated, designed, everything about it I think is just lovely, lovely. Great couple, Mark and Neil. And two dogs. Don't know what the dogs' names are. Would love to have met them for a little longer than the hour or two that I had with them. I think this boat is probably the best boat I've seen as a wide beam. Ring cleaning on the old ivories. Do like the bronze towels and the bronze. Oh, I love that shower. Just great bathroom. Great bathroom. And they compost. They do. Nice little desk. And one thing I noticed, well, you may have noticed the amount of times the stringy lights were moving. Windy day. Windy day. I'm going to make some honey and mustard thing to have some chicken whilst I'm watching something on the flicks on the iPad. Oh, there we go. It's the bonus of having tablets that you can actually, well, you don't need to watch telly. And it saves electricity as well. So I'm going to make some honey and mustard sauce. I don't know how that goes. Just wait and see, eh? Honey, a dollop, some mustard, some garlic. I haven't got any paprika, so I'm going to use some Chinese 5-spice. A little bit of olive oil and some salt. And then we're going to mix it up and taste it and just see what happens, really. As simple as that. Maybe it's just crap. I've just plonked the chicken in a bowl and I'm going to put it in the fridge. And then I'm just going to watch a bit of Luther on the Netflix. Sarah Millican called it festering. Mine's probably festering because I don't think the bowl's big enough to marinate it. But you know, it do what it does, won't it? There we go. And then all I'm going to do is cook it and cook some veg. Gift. Mixture of, what is it, carrots, broccoli, green beans. I think that's about it, really. Success on the plate? Perhaps. I noticed I had some hairy ears. These are things that perhaps I shouldn't tell you. It's one of the few places that I grow hair. I'm not going to tell you where else I grow hair, but it's not where you think. Maybe it is, I don't know. Try and take care of myself. I don't know. Trouble with living on your own. No one tells you got hairy ears, do they? And it's only when I'm doing the editing I'm thinking, oh, look how hairy my earlobes are. Enough about hair, because I haven't got much of it to talk about. But as I say, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing. Next week, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Oh, I'm going to be travelling through Blissworth Tunnel. You can't see much because it's dark.